being recorded.
Hello, my name is Scott Schumacher, and I'm the principal at St. Peter's Lutheran School in Columbus, Indiana. And I have the privilege of introducing today's webinar, Greatness in Your School Community, No Matter What Your Size, Part 2. This is a continuation from the webinar from last week. This webinar is featuring a best practice at Emmanuel Lutheran School in Wentzville, Missouri, one of our exemplary schools from last year. And this webinar is produced by our friends at Emmanuel, is being produced by Concordia University, Wisconsin's Office of Continuing and Distance Education. So we thank our friends at Concordia for their leadership and support in this endeavor. Just a few notes here before we begin our webinar. First of all, our live webinars are participatory events, and so we appreciate your questions and comments. Feel free to express yourself by typing the chat box in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. All the webinars presented this year are available on demand on the login page of the Lutheran School portal, and you don't need to be a portal member to view them. If you like what was shared, we would invite you to view a recorded webinar together with your faculty. This is just a great opportunity for professional development with your staff. Another great resource of Lutheran schools is the LCMS School Ministry Facebook page. Our Facebook page provides another opportunity for our school to connect informally, and we invite you to share your encouraging stories on the LCMS School Ministry Facebook page. Let's begin our webinar today with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we acknowledge you as our Savior and King. Give you thanks for the opportunity to serve you in our various schools. We thank you for all schools, but especially we give you thanks for Emmanuel Lutheran School in Wentzville, Missouri. We thank you for blessing this school with a fantastic staff who work hard to draw children and their families into a close relationship with our Savior, Jesus Christ. We ask that you would continue to shower your blessings upon Emmanuel Wentzville. Give the staff all they need to teach the students entrusted to their care. And finally, Lord, we ask that you be with those who are presenting this webinar, as well as those who are participating in this webinar. And this next hour be a blessing to all. In Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. So welcome Allison Dolak and her teachers there from Emmanuel Wentzville as they share the webinar entitled Greatness in Your School Community, No Matter What Your Size.
Hi, my name is Shirley Nolting, and I'm the preschool director here at Emmanuel. At Emmanuel, we believe the relationships that we develop with our preschool families are vital to our success as a school. We work very hard to foster good relationships with all of our preschool families. We do this in a variety of ways, including our Homeschool Connection projects. These are little projects we send home with our students. Some of these projects would include All About Me, paper dolls that they decorate, pumpkins they would decorate, Star of the Week, and classroom-created books. Some of these projects help us get to know our students. They give the parents and students opportunities to work together. And these end up being very important to our students. Our kiddos beam with pride when they see some of these finished projects on the bulletin boards at school. These are a couple of the finished projects that the kiddos worked on, the pumpkins and decorated the turkey feathers, brought them home and worked on them with their families and brought them back to school, and then we displayed them. There's a couple more of our projects. Those are our paper dolls where they decorate the doll to look like their child, and then some of our All About Me projects that we work on. We work on classroom books. This is an example of a classroom rule book that we put together and we sent home with our students. The kiddos helped us create the entire book in the classroom. They learned the rules, they took the book home, they shared it with their families. This is a quick and easy way for teachers to create meaningful connections with the classroom and the school. The parents love reading these books. Let's see, our next. A very important aspect of our Homeschool Connection is letting our parents know that all of these important projects they will get back. So we make sure we return all of the special projects they work on in a scrapbook at the end of the year. I saved our favorite Homeschool Connection projects for last, and these are the projects that are created to build connections with our families and our church. They include having our children sing and perform in church, inviting our parents to chapel, promoting kid-friendly church events like Easter egg hunts, VBS, and Sunday school. Last year, we were given the awesome responsibility of leading Big Kid Chapel. We were nervous but very excited. We used this opportunity to invite all of our preschool families to this special preschool chapel. They showed up and new powerful connections were created. Until you make personal connections with your families, they are not vested in your class or your school. Making personal connections makes your class and what you're doing important to your families. Because you make connections, they know you care, so they care. I had a video for you, but it didn't quite get uploaded in the right way. So I just want to reiterate, a lot of the projects we do are very easy for teachers to put together. And I hope that each of you will find a way to create a special homeschool connection project with your classroom.
The kindergarten teachers would like to share some technology resources that we have found to be very helpful to use in our classrooms. The first one is called Starfall. Starfall is a great way to enhance learning and help differentiate your instruction. It has helped change the way we teach, and it is a great way to incorporate technology and use of the smartboard. Starfall also helps keep students engaged and excited about different topics. We use Starfall during their individual computer time, and they are able to maneuver through it very easily. Starfall has a reading instruction for phonemic awareness, phonics, comprehension skills, fluency practice, and sight words. For math, there are great activities for number recognition, writing, addition, subtraction, geometry, and number sentence exposure. This website offers a free portion of the website that you can use, and about 25% of these resources are free, but it also has an option for you to purchase the resources at a very reasonable price. The ABC activities include interactive letter games and beginning sound practice to go with each letter. The bottom letters include extra vowel and ABC songs that are very fun to sing along with. Rhymes are a very important skill that a kindergarten should already master. This page allows you to click on a picture and go to an individual rhyme with every letter. This would be a great tool for journaling or poetry writing. The Learn to Read section is a great practice for word family and blending sounds. These books increase with difficulty and differentiate for the students that need this. The Starfall characters are also in these books, which makes them more relatable to the students. The word machine is a fun way to make CVC words with different vowels. The machine starts and you sound out the word together, then an object pops out telling you what is being spelled. We also love our Vowel Pals. We have purchased every single stuffed character that goes with the books. This allows a great visual reminder to have in the room, but it's also just fun for the kids to interact with. They are also great manipulatives that go with every book, including sequencing cards and sentence strip scrambles to put together. We also have a mini book for every book so they can continue to read it at home. Now we get into math. This interactive section is very similar to the ABC page. When a number is clicked, it is counted and showed in many different forms. There is also a fun number game at the end of every number. This section is also a great math tool for 2D and 3D shapes and measurement activities. And again, the next slide is more exciting math activities that help with simple addition and subtraction, and this also introduces number sentences and great practice for simple math facts. The interactive calendar allows you to review days of the week, dates, special events, and that the children can make themselves. They love to individualize their calendar with birthdays, a lost tooth, or anything exciting that is happening in their lives. Learning colors in kindergarten should be a review for most, and this section is a new way to look at colors as we begin to recognize the color words. The song that goes with each color is entertaining and fun to sing along with. Starfall offers many sections of songs. Songs that incorporate motion, review nursery rhymes, and teach math, or just have recognizable songs for kids to sing. Each holiday has a common symbol or item associated with it. Kids can click on the symbol for a different holiday and have a chance to interactively make the symbol into a fun book and sing along. Starfall offers wonderful teacher resources as well. You have the capability to create and customize your own worksheets for alphabet letters, sight words, word families, numbers, and other math skills. These worksheets are parallel with the website in that they incorporate the characters from the ValPals. There are numerous other resources and projectables that are also available to enhance the lessons and classroom activities. The website offers an entire reading curriculum for purchase. Like I said, we use some of the resources, but not all that are offered. But we have been very pleased with everything that we have bought. It has helped us greatly enhance our classroom environment. Our next software tool that we use, in addition to Starfall, is called ESGI software. This helps us, along with numerous observations, student work, benchmarks, checklists, and other forms of assessment. ESGI is a great way to continually assess students on an individual basis. It provides a unique way to differentiate instruction, view class graphs and charts, and print parent letters and other resources. Using ESGI provides continual documentation of student progress. Many test slides are offered and ready to be used. Assessments are tailored to kindergarten curriculum and the standards. Something that can be very useful is the fact that you can make your own assessments to go with whatever you're currently working on and want to assess yourself. I use this feature a fair amount to see what knowledge is known and what may need to be retaught. Having charts that show individual and class by the class is a great asset to any teacher. I like to go by about if 75% of the class does not know the information, then it needs to be completely retaught. The program calculates this information for you and makes it very easy for you to see strong areas and weak areas. ESGI also makes it very easy for struggling students to get resources that they may need. If a student is struggling, it allows us to print off flashcards and send home with the child. It also has a well-written letter to parents explaining the areas of weakness. These are just some of the features of ESGI software that we use on a daily basis. We encourage you to take a look at the website. They offer a free trial of software for up to 60 days. Both websites are very user-friendly and a great resource for the classroom. We hope you will look more into these resources and find them to be as valuable as we do. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello, I'm Abby Forgeson.
And I'm Melissa Nauman.
And we're going to talk to you today about creating a writing community in your classroom. This year in first grade, we've started using a new curriculum called Being a Writer, the second edition. We are enjoying this curriculum very much because it truly creates a writing community in your classroom.
Our main goal during writing is to create an environment where students see themselves as contributing members of a caring writing community.
Students are able to hear and discuss examples of good writing, see the teacher model writing, and write and illustrate stories on their own.
There are 6 parts of a writing community. They include the read aloud of the story, discussion of the story, guided writing, writing time, share and reflect time, and free choice writing.
Remember, writing communities don't happen overnight, but this is a year-long project. We recommend starting your writing community during the very first week of school. By creating a writing community, you will set up a comfortable and safe environment where children have the desire and drive to express their ideas and try their best. This not only will benefit your students, but also your relationships that you have with them.
The first part of a writing community is reading a story out loud. During this time, students listen to stories from published authors. Students are encouraged to create a discussion with their classmates about the material they are listening to and reading. Students use the think, pair, share technique. This technique is modeled, discussed, and practiced at the beginning of the year as we set up our writing community. Students take a moment to reflect on the question by themselves. Then they turn to a partner and quietly share and listen to each other's ideas. When the teacher notices the children finishing their discussion, she or he displays a hand signal that the children mimic. This cues the children to have their eyes on the teacher and listen for further direction.
Here is a picture of Abby modeling the read aloud. The second part of creating a writing community is the discussion of the story. During this time, teachers ask questions in order to facilitate an insightful discussion about the story. The questions are meaningful and thought-provoking. The Being a Writer second edition provides excellent examples of these types of questions.
Teachers ask questions based on the 5 W's: who or which, what, when, where, and why. For example, after reading the book Things I Like by Anthony Brown, we asked these questions. What does the chimpanzee in the story like to do? And do you like to do any of the same things the chimpanzee likes to do? If so, which things do you like to do?
Teachers should be ready to reread from the book in order to help students recall what they've learned. We have found that students truly enjoy looking through the book to find answers to questions we have asked and questions they have generated themselves.
Next comes the guided writing segment. Guided writing time creates an opportunity for students to visualize ideas for a story. The children brainstorm ideas and the teacher records these ideas on chart paper that is displayed in the classroom. The teacher then uses the ideas to create a story with the class. Here is a sample of a list of things we like to do. We made this list after reading the Things I Like book. We decided to pick I Like to Read from our list, and we wrote the story listed below. While writing, we discussed capitalization, punctuation, spacing, spelling, using the word wall, and drawing illustrations that match our story.
After we have shared our story, then comes independent writing time. Students return to their seats and engage in the writing process. We explain to the students that we will now be working quietly in order for people to be able to think and concentrate, because a writing community is considerate and respectful of others. Sometimes we will even turn on relaxing background music in order for the environment to transform into a place of peacefulness and creativity. Students are encouraged to follow the prompts, but are given the freedom to write their own ideas and experiences. Some students will work on one story during this time, while others will start to illustrate their writing or start a second story. During this time, the teacher may hold writing conferences with each student or a group of students. The teacher might encourage them to add more detail or talk to them about their writing topic. He or she may have the student read their story out loud and discuss where periods go in their sentences. A hand signal or gentle 5-minute warning is given to signify the end of writing time.
Reflection and sharing of stories follows writing time. Students read their stories quietly to themselves. The teacher asks guided questions such as, what is something that you really like to do that you wrote on your paper? They may answer these questions by pair sharing, answering out loud to the whole class, or sharing at their tables. Then 3 or 4 volunteers share their stories and add their ideas to the class chart. We really emphasize during sharing time that the children are being respectful and listening to their classmates' stories and complimenting each other on their hard work.
The final step in creating a writing community is free writing. At this time, students draw and write whatever they choose in their notebooks. Before writing, the teacher can help generate a list of ideas that students might want to write about. During free writing, students may choose to illustrate and make an additional entry. Afterwards, a few volunteers share their ideas with the class.
Remember, writing communities don't happen overnight. This is a year-long project. By the end of the year, your class will be excited and energized about writing and sharing their ideas with others. By creating a writing community, you end up creating a sense of community in your class. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Beatty, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the interactive notebooks that I started using in my classroom last year and then continued using them this year just because I like them so much. I currently use them for science, social studies, and math, but I've also seen them used for language arts. I just don't feel like I have the time in my day to incorporate another interactive notebook, so I'm sticking with my 3. I have examples on the screen for you of my different types of activities that I do in my interactive notebooks. I like them specifically because they're portable, especially for the little guys. I teach 2nd grade. A lot easier to carry home than a big old science textbook. And it allows for creativity and hands-on. It keeps the kids engaged when I'm teaching rather than just reading straight out of a textbook. It allows them to really experiment with the information we're learning. Here I have some tips for setting up an interactive notebook. First thing I do is I always set up a table of contents at the beginning of every notebook, and we do this as a whole class. We write the table of contents, and then I have the students go through the notebook and label each page in number order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so that all of our notebooks are going to be identical. I also create an interactive teacher notebook at the same time. So I also have an identical notebook I can use as a display in case the children are unsure of where to put a certain item or vocabulary word. And it also keeps me on task with them. If I need to explain to parents which pages to look in the notebook, I can refer to my own notebook as well. The best thing about the table of contents and the page numbers is it keeps everybody together. It's worth putting extra time in at the beginning of the year to make sure everyone has the same page numbers written on their pages. They're doing the same vocabulary pages on vocabulary words on the same page. So everyone can turn to page 11 and get to the same material. They're not having to dig through their notebooks. It's also nice when you're sending the notebook home for a review of a test. You can say, parents, please look at pages 5 through 10 for chapter 1, and everyone has the same information on pages 5 through 10. Here are my math interactive notebooks. This is the hardest area for me to fit a notebook in because the math curriculum takes me a longer time to teach. So I really use just the math interactive notebooks on review days before a quiz or a test. We use them to review the vocabulary before we take the test. So you can see they've written the vocabulary into their notebook. I also do some activities. So in the middle there you see an example of us practicing skip counting by 5, skip counting by 2s, and we skip counted by 10s using different colored markers. We made a 10. One thing I like about math interactive notebooks or just interactive notebooks is you can create a lot of the material yourself, but there is also a lot of information out there online with Teachers Pay Teachers and other sites that have things made for you that help you along so you're not having to spend so much time creating your own pieces for these interactive notebooks. My science and social studies are probably where I spend the most of my time in my interactive notebooks. Again, it's worth taking a lot of time at the beginning of the year to teach how to make your notebook, how to cut out the vocabulary pieces, how to cut out the different activities that you might use, and using the same format each week is also helpful. So for example, all of my vocabulary foldables look like in the top left picture there. They all look the same, so they know when they get their papers on their desk, they cut them out, they cut the slit in the middle, they glue the vocabulary down and put it into their notebook. Then we're ready to lift up the flap and draw a picture or write the vocabulary definition underneath the word. Again, it's good to spend as much time as you can at the beginning of the year teaching that, so as the year goes on, you don't have to spend a lot of time prompting the kids on what to do to get their notebooks ready. And finally, there's a question of whether you should grade your notebooks or not grade. I do a little bit of both. I use most of it just to get the kids involved in what we're learning, but I do grade a few things. So in the middle there, you can see a picture of a flower. That was a take-home assignment. They had to draw me a flower and label the part. And then we glued it into our notebook to keep that for future reference when we were studying for a test. Again, it's portable, so it was easy to take outside. We did an alive and not alive activity, and we could just take our notebooks outside and make lists of things that are alive and not alive. That is something I could grade. Something I did not grade but was good review is we made a main idea and details map to review the lesson as we were finishing it, and we made that in our notebook so it was ready for us when it was time to review for our test. So I hope you got some ideas here about how to use an interactive notebook in your classroom. It really is a great tool to get the kids engaged, and it's a great tool for reviewing as you go throughout the year.
Hello, my name is Kim Teilman. I teach 3rd grade here, and I would like to talk a little bit about whole brain teaching. I've always considered classroom management a strong suit of mine until I did 6th grade for a little while, and they were a lot different. So I did some research and came up with a lot of things on the internet about whole brain and ways to engage the kids and get their attention in a new way. So I've been doing that ever since. I figured if it could work for 6th grade, it could work for any grade. The brain learns in 5 ways, all of our senses. So when the kids are actively engaged, they are learning to their fullest potential. So that's a good thing. So the first way to have control in the class is before any learning can happen, you have to have that control in their attention. So this is kind of a fun way. The kids enjoy the silliness of my behavior, I guess, as well. But the teacher says class, and the students say yes, and then they're quiet. So however you say class, they say yes. So if you say classity class, they say yesity yes. So you can get as silly as you want with that, to say it in different ways, and it keeps them fresh, and keeps them on their toes. And then you don't give instruction until it's quiet. So that has been a really effective tool. They learn sooner or later that you will keep saying yes, or class, and they will keep saying yes, and they learn to quiet down quickly. There are some rules that come with the program. They're not my rules. They go with the whole brain program, and they're listed here. So you want to teach the kids the rules, their emotions to go with it. So rule number 1 is follow directions quickly, and they put their hand out in front of them like a fish swimming off in the water. Rule number 2, you raise your hand for permission to speak. So the kids do that, and they do like a talking motion next to their mouth. Rule number 3 is raise your hand for permission to leave your seat. They raise their hand and then make a little walking figure with their fingers. Rule number 4 is make smart choices, and that's one where you tap your finger to your temple, kind of put your head back and forth, and say each word, make smart choices. Rule number 5 is a different one. It's keep your dear teacher happy, and they smile and make a silly face when they say keep your dear teacher happy. And I explain that one that it's just that everyone should be happy so that learning can take place. So those are the rules, and it's a great way to remind the students if there are kids that are talking out. I can just put up number 2, and it reminds the whole class of the rule without necessarily breaking my instruction. Another thing that we play with this is called teacher versus students, and what it is a scoreboard. I just draw a T on the board and an S, and it keeps tally marks. So whenever the students are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they earn a point. If they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then I get a point. For example, if they're all ready for the next lesson and they have all their supplies out, I'll say, class, can I get a woohoo? And they'll say, woohoo, and then they get a point. Or maybe they're not ready for the next class, and I'll say, class, can I get a oh no? And they'll groan and say, oh no, and then I get a point. So it's one game that you want to lose as a teacher. And then I reward my class. If they beat me at the end of the day, they earn a class puzzle piece for our whole class reward. So they like to beat me with that, and I'm okay too. The next, there are a lot of different strategies, but I haven't gotten into too many of them yet. The main one that I will do is teach okay, and this is a great way to get the kids active. I will present a little bit of information, and then I will say teach, and I'll clap 2 times, and then they say okay, and they clap 2 times, and then they tell a partner everything that I just said. So they mimic what I'm doing. I'm very animated with the words. Maybe for science, I'm getting all excited about photosynthesis or something like that, and then they get excited as well and teach their peers. Another way I use the whole brain is you can have the kids act out their vocabulary words where they use motions. Instead of just writing the definition, they can get up and out of their seat and really learn the meaning of the word. One last component, it's important to give the kids brain breaks throughout the day. Whenever they're starting to kind of slump in their seat or their eyes glaze over, it's good to get them up just to re-energize them and improve their focus. A great website is Go Noodle, and it's all safe activities that are embedded within this site. The kids earn little points and have a character that will change as they earn points. And there's different components like stretching or calming. There's dancing and all different kinds of things. So they really like that website. It's a really nice tool. I've included the link at the bottom, or you can just do a Google search for whole brain if you're interested in more of the strategies. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I am Cody Collier, and I am one of the 4th grade teachers here at Emmanuel. Today I'll be talking to you guys about one of our projects that we do in our social studies curriculum for model government. Here at Emmanuel, our curriculum is based a lot on Missouri history, but there's also a government component to it, so we talk about the 3 different branches, and then we do this project to allow them the opportunity to kind of embrace what it means to be involved in a government system. Our learning objectives within this project is to develop an understanding of how governmental systems and processes work. Specifically in this project, we work with the legislative and the executive branches. We also encourage them to critically think about issues in our local society. In the case of this project, we more focus on the school building itself. What things are they noticing that is going wrong in the school, or what could be improved about our school building. They participate in an environment that promotes public speaking, as they will present their laws to the class before the project is over so that they can practice talking to their peers about what they believe should be worked on. And lastly, this is something that's developed over time, is our technology integration with this project. They show their abilities to prepare slides through PowerPoint presentations, and including pictures for creativity. In the past, I had them work with Word documents, as we were 2-to-1 last year, and with that, they were still able to add pictures to their laws and just really work with them that way. The preparation for this project typically takes about a week. What happens on the first day is I allow students a chance to choose a state that they would like to represent. I ask them to think about what state they visited and they've really liked, or if there's a certain place that they would like to visit in the near future because they're very intrigued by it. After that, I have them brainstorm possible issues within the school and prepare a defense for why that issue being addressed is an important thing to talk about. After that, I have them submit their ideas to me for approval before working on the main project, and this will be a Google Slides presentation. And after that, I allow them time to work on their slides within the scaffold prepared through the Google Classroom. So I will prepare a PowerPoint slide presentation for them with different points. So on certain slides, I'll want them to talk about certain things. And as long as they follow that scaffold and prepare it in the best way possible, they should be good to go. Before they present the following week, I'll have them share their work with me, just so whenever we go to presentations the following week, it'll be a lot easier because I'll be able to pull them up in a quicker way. Presentation day itself is a fun day. I have the kiddos sitting at their desks prepared to ask questions, and then I'll have the presenters come to the front. This can either be done through use of what I call my hot seat, which is my teacher chair. They'll either sit on the teacher chair and talk through their presentation, or they'll stand in front of the class, as you can see in the pictures. The students present their laws one at a time. After they're done presenting their laws and talking about why it's important and having their defenses for it, I allow the students an opportunity to ask questions of their peers, just to kind of clarify their bill a little bit further, maybe ask why they feel like a defense was why it should be. And then after that, the students will have the opportunity to vote on the bill, which will go on to Mrs. Dolak to be approved or vetoed, depending on how the bill looks. In order for the bill to get passed to go to Mrs. Dolak, it has to have a 50% vote in order to pass, very similar to the legislative branch at the beginning stages. Once they're at President Dolak, as I mentioned, the bill can get vetoed, or the principal can offer an idea to revise the bill before the secondary vote. After that, they come back to us in the classroom, and that this year will be after the Christmas break, which is a more realistic time frame for a president to respond back about a bill, thankfully. At that point in time, when we go through voting again, they'll have to have a 2/3 majority vote on the bill, very similar once again to the legislative branch and how that works with passing a bill then. So you might be wondering, what if you're not one-to-one right now? This project suits itself very well for experiences with and with technology, with or without technology. For example, our first year doing this project was in 2013 and 2014. At this time, we didn't have Chromebooks at 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 even. At this point in time, we had a computer lab, which we got to go to once a week for 30 minutes. So it was harder to have them really prepare their laws and stuff using the computers at that time. So what they did that year instead is they wrote their laws on a sheet of paper. I would have them pass their bills around to their classmates, and if the classmates felt that they would support that bill, they would sign it, so it almost became like a petition, and then after that, the laws were presented before the class. Last year, our classrooms went to 2-in-1 for Chromebooks, and that just made it a lot easier for the kids to be able to work on their Chromebooks, to type up their law and to add pictures to their laws and just really kind of spice it up a little bit. And this year is our first year going to 1-in-1 and with using the Google Classroom. So I will still have them originally handwrite their bills, but after time they'll be able to present it into Google Slides, which I feel will create a better overall presentation. It's a very fun project, and the kids really love and enjoy doing it. And as mentioned before, it really allows them the opportunity to kind of be socially aware of things that are going on and to really embrace their personal voice and how to talk about what they feel needs to be addressed and what needs to not be addressed. And I thank you for your time.
Okay, I am Rich Webbles. I'm the middle school math teacher at ILS. Math at ILS is very goal-driven. Through numerous and interrelated mathematical experiences, students work to attain following goals. They work to become better problem solvers, to communicate mathematically, to develop confidence in their own abilities to do math, to prepare for Christ-centered, productive lives, to develop positive attitudes towards their own mathematical experiences, and to be challenged to succeed to the best of their God-given abilities. We really use a blend of traditional methods and technology. Traditional algorithms with a very strong foundation in basic operation is a big focus of what we do. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. The other focus is on 21st century skills. Real-world applications, we use real-world examples and problems, and that really drives our guided and independent practice part of our math curriculum. In math, we study 21st century career, focusing on STEM-related skills. Throughout the year in math, students use technology to develop 21st century mathematic knowledge and skills. In the last 10 years or so, there's been a major shift in the way math is taught in the United States and what we expect our students to be able to accomplish by the time they graduate high school. This has definitely stirred up a lot of controversy, just to say the least. The reason for this shift, with the availability of advanced technology available to pretty much everybody and its integration into the core of our lives, merely memorizing steps to solve math equations is no longer sufficient to compete on a global stage. So this is a challenge that we at ILS have embraced. In our math classes, students explore STEM career paths using technology all the time. Our math resources include an online textbook and personal tutorials for every example. every student has their own personal account, so they have anytime, anywhere access to math, to our math curriculum. And this program also allows me to teach with technology by providing virtual manipulatives, lesson animations, online assignments, and more personalized instruction. The technology in the classroom is a convenience, but it's not a focus of our math curriculum. I could teach these same concepts without the technology in my classroom. With our upper grades, pre-algebra starts in 6th grade, and then all 8th graders at ILS take Algebra 1. Algebra 1 at Emmanuel is a high school prep class that provides a formal development of the algebraic skills and concepts necessary for students to succeed in advanced courses. In particular, the instruction program in this course provides the use of algebraic skills in a wide range of problem-solving situations. The concept of function is very much emphasized throughout this entire course. And the topics that 8th graders focus on are operations with real numbers, linear equations and inequalities, relations and functions, and then we move on to polynomials, algebraic fractions, and nonlinear equations and quadratics. I think of our students as being on a math journey when they begin here, where their end destination is high school math. 3 years ago, we made the decision to have all 8th graders take Algebra 1. With the rich and diverse assortment of resources available, it is easy to differentiate my instruction, so I'm able to advance those who are ready and work very closely with those who need my help. From here, our students have several options open to them upon entering high school. It does depend on the school they choose, but most are ready to go on to geometry. Last year, out of 16 ILS graduates, 13 went on to geometry, and out of those, 5 of them went on to honors geometry at area private schools where a placement test was required. For the individuals who did not go on to geometry, a second year of exposure to algebra aids in building a strong algebraic foundation. In the past, I've had A students actually decide to take Algebra 1 again during their freshman year just to further their skills. So I think the biggest advantage of this is that the students and, of course, their parents have choices once they begin high school. The other part of our school-wide curriculum is more traditional approach. We do recognize that many high schools complain that incoming freshmen are not strong in basic math skills. They rely very heavily on a calculator. And we recognize the need for an individual math practice program besides our technology side. So in grades 3rd all the way through 8th, we've chosen to use a program called Extra Math. It's a free program to help students master and maintain knowledge of basic math facts. So this is a web-based program that is located at extramath.org, xtramath.org, no E, increases speed and accuracy in arithmetic. This program requires students to spend a few minutes each day practicing math facts on their computer. Students are encouraged to log on once per day to take a quiz, and a practice session lasts from log on to log off is 7 minutes. So how it works is students are given an initial placement test. Then each time they log on, they're given a quiz followed by some practice time. For the quiz, students are given up to 100 basic problems in one operation. Students are considered to have mastered that operation when they pass with 100% accuracy, answering each problem in less than 3 seconds. The quiz points are what counts towards their mastery level. Then after the quiz, the program has students practice with the most commonly missed problems. In grades 5 through 8, this counts for 10% of their final quarter grade. And our time schedule is this. Addition is assigned first quarter, and students do not go on to subtraction until addition is mastered or the quarter ends, whichever comes first. Then subtraction is due by the end of second quarter, multiplication would be the end of third quarter, and division the end of fourth quarter. If students finish early, they are challenged to try to complete the program within 2 seconds to complete each problem. To help keep students motivated, parents are also given an access code so they can also monitor their child's progress. Once again, the program can be accessed anytime at home or school, and it is extramath.org, xtramath.org. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Christina Bain. I am here to talk to you about the gifted program that we have here at Emmanuel. It is called Flight because we reach those who soar. So, the purpose of our gifted program is to create an environment in which each gifted child can reach his or her full potential. The term gifted refers to a kind of learner that has mature development of mental capacity, learning potential, and affective needs as determined by professional evaluation. The criteria to make it into the gifted program is that you have to test into the 95th percentile on an IQ test, and then you either need to test into the 95th percentile on a norm reference assessment, like the standardized testing that we do each year, or have documentation of outstanding ability in the general classroom. For the gifted curriculum, we believe that gifted students are entitled to an education that corresponds with their abilities and potential, just like any student. And so we offer curriculum that promotes critical thinking and reasoning skills, creativity and divergent thinking, research and independent study skills, and interpersonal and affective skills. So a lot of times the things that we work on works with social aspects as well as educational aspects because that's just as important. And sometimes kiddos that are gifted have trouble communicating with those kiddos that are the same age as them. And so we work on that as well to teach them how to relate to others. The curriculum of the Flight program is differentiated and matched to the gifted students' ability and their unique learning characteristics. So sometimes, depending on what we're doing, we've had the students actually pick their own program to study, and based on what they choose, then we set the parameters for what they need to do and what their final goal is. But they are given the ability to explore areas in significant depth. A lot of times they have a tendency to ask and grapple with difficult questions, and they have the potential to respond creatively, and they have a desire to use leadership abilities to make a difference in the world. And when you put all these things together, it leads to an awesome program that you get to do. Next, I have just a couple videos that show some sample unit projects that we just completed in the first quarter. Our program includes students in 1st through 8th grade, and this year we have a group of 1st through 4th graders, and then we divided it also into 5th through 8th graders. So for the 1st through 4th grade projects, the kiddos were required to include a funnel and a spiral in their marble project runs. And then in 5th through 8th grade, the kiddos were required to include a funnel, a spiral, a pulley, and whatever else they wanted to include. Both projects, they were allowed to, they had to make their projects just using paper. The little kids got paper and tape, basically, and then paint to make it pretty. The bigger kids got paper, cardboard, tape, popsicle sticks, skewers, cups, and whatever else they could find on the cart that was put together. So we are going to show you some videos. Oh, he'll do it. Oops, just kidding, just kidding. So the first one is going to be the Carson video. This is my, just kidding.
So the marble's going to go through this. Like spinning it around this funnel. It's going to go down here over the pop. Will stick around my funnel into this pipe, over the ramp, through the hoop, and into the.
Okay, can you show us?
Okay, so that was actually one of the 5th through 8th graders, and this is another one from the 5th through 8th grade group.
All right, so I am Seth. This is my marble room. With the marble.
The last one we have is Carson.
The funnel goes down these stairs.
Very cool. Will you do it one more time so we can see the funnel at the top?
The pulley drops it into. The stairwell is.
Okay, so since the video's not working, I can just tell you if you can see the picture. This third grader went above and beyond. She used her funnel and a spiral, but then she also created a dual spiral on the other side so that you could send a marble either direction and it went into its own place, which was awesome. These gifted kiddos are they're just really fun, and it's just awesome to see what they can do when they are given the freedom to just soar. Thank you. Hi, my name is Christine Grubbs. I am the middle school science teacher here. And I'm going to show you some examples of the projects we are doing this fall for some of our middle school science classes.
Very cool.
Excuse me. I'm starting with pumpkin chunkin', and yes, I know how to spell pumpkin, but this is this is based on the big pumpkin chunkin' festival they have, where they bring big catapults and basically chunk pumpkins. So this year, I actually built a large catapult. Just using wood and large bungee cords. So this is made out of big 4x4s and bungee cords to pull it back. So the kids will be, if it ever stops raining here, will be going outside to chunk their pumpkins. I had them bring in pumpkins after Halloween. Most of them are jack-o'-lanterns, so they've already been carved and are a little bit lighter weight. So we are studying simple machines, and this goes in accordance with their interactive notebooks that we use in middle school science. So they will be responsible for, after chunking the pumpkins, coming in and drawing a sketch of the catapult. They then have to label the 3 parts of the catapult, describe what class lever it is, and at the very end, they are required to write an analysis in their notebooks on what could be improved on the catapult and what things could make the pumpkin fly either farther out or farther up based on where the fulcrum is placed. So this is just another view of the catapult, and it's pretty heavy duty, so we can hopefully chunk some pretty large pumpkins. Also in 8th grade science this year, we are studying chemical reactions. So we double-dutied our jack-o'-lanterns and did a chemical reaction using calcium carbide and water. And you take a pumpkin that's already been carved, a jack-o'-lantern that's carved with the face, you put the pieces back in, and basically allow the acetylene gas to build up in the pumpkin and light it on fire, and it blows the face pieces out of the pumpkin, which the kids thought was awesome. Anytime you can blow anything up for 8th graders, it really makes class fun. So then with all the other projects, we have them use their interactive notebooks, so they're required after the chemical reaction to come inside, write down what the chemical reaction was, identify all the parts of the chemical reaction, and describe what kind of reaction it is.
So this is a really fun project that we use too. And then the last one that we will be doing, we haven't gotten to it yet, but we will be using the pumpkin seeds from the pumpkin in 6th grade science, which we are studying plants in. And they will be germinating the pumpkin seeds and be required to draw the sketches of the small plant and follow them each week, labeling all the parts of the plant. And that culminates with drawing a pumpkin flower in their interactive notebooks, and then they have to label all the reproductive parts of the flower. So we get a lot of use out of the pumpkins, and hopefully it's a fun, hands-on way for the kids to see some of their science projects in action. Thank you.
Hopefully, throughout this hour, everyone has gotten some ideas of how to apply any or all of these to your school and your classrooms. If you have any specific questions for us, you can email me at adolak, A-D-O-L-A-K, at ilcsw.net, and I will forward that to the appropriate teacher, and you guys can have dialogue back and forth. And thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Yeah. So once again, we thank Allison Dolak there at Emmanuel Wentzville and really her entire staff for sharing some of these really fun best practices. The pumpkin chucking one was my favorite there. And we certainly pray God's blessings upon this great school as they move forward as well. We also thank Todd Chris from Concordia, Wisconsin for his help in producing this webinar. We couldn't do all this without help from Concordia, Wisconsin, so we thank you for that for sure. I'll be looking for more information on upcoming webinars. Our next webinars are not scheduled until January, but be looking for some of those emails out there to invite you to participate. So God's blessings to you all as you continue to serve our Savior as professional educators in Lutheran schools. God bless. Allison, you there?
Yes.
Great job.